Bizarre Brain Comics. Condorman. Condorman flies way high up in the sky. Condorman. Condorman. Hi. Oh. Gary here for Bizarre Brain Comics. This is where we like to talk about some old comics. And especially about the stories and art. Now today I want to talk about Condorman. He said, I don't think I've heard of that one. Condorman? Condorman was a 1981 Walt Disney movie, and it was adapted to comics from Gold Key Comics under their Whitman imprint. And of course, here they are. They had a total of 3 issues. The first 2 issues were they'd done this also before. The first 2 issues were adapting the movie, and then a 3rd issue as a follow-up story, follow-up to the movie, and then that was all that they published. They had done that before with the comic version of The Black Hole, also a Disney movie. Had 2 issues adapting the movie, and then a follow-up afterwards. Then leaving it at that. So, and they have photo covers instead of illustrated covers. And this was all part of the movie promotion. Okay, and this movie, you may not. It's not as well known, but this is a movie that starred Michael Crawford and Barbara Carrera. It's I'll consult the Big Book of Knowledge. Okay, Condorman, Disney's Condorman, as a Whitman comic under Gold Key Comics, is 1981 adaptation of the Disney movie starring Michael Crawford, who is later best known and revered for his role as the Phantom in the Phantom of the Opera on stage, and Barbara Carrera. It was a spoof of comic book superheroes and spy movies. Okay, the first 2 issues, I said, adapted the movie, and number 3 was an original story as a follow-up to the film events. Okay, and I have no idea who wrote the comic adaptation because, as usual, there are no credits. But it was drawn by Frank Bolle. That's B-O-L-L-E. Frank Bolle. So I hope that's how you pronounce it. From 1924 to 2020. He had a good long life. He's a I can't talk. And he was a cartoonist for comic strips and comic books, and an illustrator. He was an artist on the such things as the Winnie Winkle and Heart of Juliet Jones newspaper strips. And in comic books, he did work on Tim Holt title, which was a Western. He did a bunch of others too. And Dr. Solar, Man of the Atom for Gold Key for many years. And he did illustrations also for many years for Boys Life magazine. And I remember that because that's probably where I first really noticed his art. When I was a kid, for a few years I was subscribed to Boys Life, even though it was a Boy Scout magazine. Someone had given it to me as a gift, the subscription as a gift. And where I lived, we didn't have Boy Scouts. He did work on various projects for Atlas, which is later Marvel, and DC during the 50s. I guess most notably their original version of DC's original version of Robot Man. Not the one that's in the Doom Patrol, but an earlier one. Okay, let's go take a little look at Frank Bolle's version of Condorman. He flies way high up in the sky. Condorman. Condorman. Yeah. This cover here is actually the cover to the third issue, but I like that one best. Here we have the part 1 with some good action sequences on the front, highlighting Michael Crawford. And here part 2, more action sequences, Michael Crawford. And unfortunately, this is the only image that they used on the cover anyway of Barbara Carrera. Just too bad. They should have highlighted her too, since she was a main character. Okay, as I said, this book, there's 3 issues, movie adaptation. And Michael Crawford, he was primarily a musical theater actor, but has done some movies. He was in the film version of Hello, Dolly, which, from what I understand, he had also been performed on stage. And a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum, a comedy about Roman times, and other stuff that I can't remember. He was a stalwart working actor, but he really got famous for The Phantom of the Opera, which I saw on stage, not starring him, and it was magnificent. I have to say, it was magnificent. Okay, that is Condorman. I like it because it's got him on the wing here. Now, the whoever wrote the movie knew very little about comic books, it seems, and it kind of shows. But the whole thing is tongue in cheek. It's because the main character is he's a cartoonist, and Condorman is one of his main comic book characters, and he writes and draws them all, and he insists that they can all be the stuff his characters do and use in his books have to be realistic, have to actually work, which makes little sense to me, and a lot of expense, because he tests the stuff out, like this suit here, the Condorman suit. It actually works in the story. It wouldn't work in real life. And he uses a lot of photo reference with himself in the costumes and doing things as Condorman. Then he draws them. Okay, here's the first issue, and I'll just talk a little bit. Here it is, because it starts off in France, the Eiffel Tower. What's going on? People see someone. Frank Bolle he's a journeyman artist. He's not spectacular as we see in comics, but he's done a lot of comic book material for advertising, and comic style material for advertising, and as well as loads of comic strip and comic book work, mostly like Gold Key, but as I said earlier on in some of the others, he did not have the spectacular dynamic style that Marvel or DC would have later gravitated to. So there is Condorman. That's Woody Wilkins in his Condorman suit up on top there. And there's his buddy taking pictures down below. And he takes off because he wants these great shots. He's flying, flapping, and his wing breaks. And he falls into the Seine River. And his buddy, I've forgotten his name. Anyway, we'll see it. And he falls in the river. And then his friend Harry has to save him. Some superhero pulls him out. All these people gawking. Nice work. I mean, the artwork is nice and clean. Obviously, he had little photo reference for the characters, so he just, except for the costumes and the gizmos and stuff. Now his boss, his friend Harry, works for the CIA as an accountant or something like that, and in Paris office, his boss pulls him and said, "Well, we need somebody to do this thing. We're handing off some having an exchange of some papers with Russians in Istanbul, and we need somebody who is a complete civilian. So he gets Woody to be the complete civilian who gets wrapped up in the cloak and dagger and down to the costume and all this other crap. And so he goes to Istanbul, to this place where he's supposed to make the trade. He instantly gets into trouble. Stuff happens, people fall over, and there are some real Russian spies, because these are supposed to be civilians on both sides. Someone's trying to stop him. He gets in trouble. He accidentally knocks him out and defeats all these bad guys by sheer accident with the handcuffed briefcase to him. And here he meets the gal he's supposed to meet, and her name, well, and she turns out she is an actual Russian agent. Remember, this is in the 80s with the height of the Cold War. So here they're meeting, and he takes an instant liking to her. She's just gorgeous. Of course, she doesn't look much like Barbara Carrera, but it's still a very, very lovely lady. And here they are, and these, I guess it's some Chinese agents trying to stop it. And here they are, suddenly in trouble again. Somebody's trying to horn in, and boom, here's Woody really gets in trouble, knocks people out, and of course the lady Natalia, she does the same, where she's trained, and she takes care of her a bit on her own, but winds up saving Natalia. And then they have the exchange. He says he's actually his top agent. His name is Condorman and all this other crap. And Das Vidanya, Condorman. She gives him a little kiss. Oh, what the heck? They are back in Russia. Came off okay, talking to her boss, Sergey. See, standard 6-panel, 3-tier layout for most of the pages. There's a slight difference, but tells the story adequately, not innovatively, but this was Gold Key. They did not want anything like that. They wanted straight, because these are also for younger readers. And so here they are, and he come up with his new character, Laser Lady, which is based on Natalia, and said, "Oh my gosh, that's the KGB agent, the Bear." He recognized her, yeah, and it turns out she wants to defect to the West. So, and she'll only work with Condorman. So they get Woody, and he has a whole plan for it, and he's already done it in a comic book. This is funny because he's already done it in the comic book. See, they don't realize that there are months to working for each issue of a comic book. That's the writers of the movie. They ignore that. This is Woody's plan, and they're meeting in Yugoslavia, looking as peasants, gypsy type peasants. And I know, I guess Romany would be more correct because gypsy is considered a derogatory term. I'm sorry about that. And they're being met, but she was being followed and got these Russian agents trying to stop them, but Woody's got some gimmicks that he thought up and the CIA made for him, which again would have taken months. Got this cane, which is actually a machine gun. I don't know where all the ammunition's being held because it's going brap brap brap, so it's a lot of bullets. Everyone goes scampering. The bad guys get knocked out, and there's Natalia. She'd gone for cover, and Woody, just by accident again, takes out this guy, this Russian agent, and they scamper. They take off, and they're in this old rickety truck as disguise. And so they're on their way, and they contact the Russians. Contact what's her name, Sergey. He sends the Broknovyach. There's evil henchmen, and they have these super cars. Ooh, and they're chasing them all over the place. Zoom, zoom, go through the town where they're at. And there are bits and pieces being left out. And then as they're being trying to escape, they can't outrun those cars, and then boom, super race car pops out of the truck. It was all fake, and it's the Condor mobile, and he's got all these weapons on her, But these super racers they're good at avoiding stuff. Great drivers. Here they are. And these gizmos, boom, missiles coming out. And kablooey, he takes out some of the trucks. I mean, some of the cars. He takes out most of the cars, but there's still one hot on their tail. And they do the trick. There are two of them on the trail, and he's, boom, turns the car into a jump ramp. And they get rid of two more cars. Boom, into part 1. Part 2, recap, Woody. Here they are right at the back. And they've gotten rid of those cars. But Morovich, the goon, he's right there. And they're still going. And then the car turns in, jumps off the pier into the water, and it becomes a hydrofoil. And it races across the lake, or into the Aegean Sea. So they're gone. Go like, what the heck? What's all this stuff going on? Condorman is no CIA agent. He's figured it. Sergei has figured it out. Discovered who he is. He's really Woody Wilkins. It's hard to say. Woody Wilkins, the cartoonist. And the car is abandoned because they ran out of fuel. They're into, I think it's in Italy. And they're taking time in to rest and recuperate in a barn to spend the night. And boom, nobody moved. Cops got them. And they're in jail. What the heck's going on here? I said, holy Hannah. They've put out, they're on the front page. They're fugitives from the law. It's been a cover story. Here somebody comes here to pick him up, and Woody is the ugly American. He's just insulting this guy, handcuffing them together, all three of them together. And then it turns out, stop hassling me, old buddy. Harry! It's really his buddy Harry in disguise. So then they're taking them, get in the car, and they get these handcuffs off. Hang on, just a couple minutes. Let's get out of there, and then boom. The Morovich and his Broknoviach. He's right there. So they're taking off, trying to escape, and they're blocked in. They take off on foot, and they're all still handcuffed together because they don't have time to get the handcuffs off. They crash a wedding, and the bad guys do too. And so Natalia causes a disturbance, claiming that she's already married to the groom, and which really causes a disturbance, and they knock it as the bad guys get punched out by the Italian families, and it gives them a chance to get away. So they got away, and Morovich is all bandaged up. So while there's Woody, Harry, and Natalia still trying to get away, they're going over the Alps. Has this gizmo that Woody had invented, little rocket things for the tramway. They get on there and they're taking off. They had to double up on one of them, but they've been followed and discovered, and Woody and Harry are shot off their thing, off their gizmo, and they fall into, fortunately, it's several feet of snow. You can see right there, they survive, and Natalia is captured and taken back. And since Sergei is actually in love with her, he's a kind of a stalker type. Now they're in Monaco, and he's saying say you come back, and we'll say it was all a trap to catch this Condorman, and you'll be okay. I mean, she's not happy because she knows she's still basically a prisoner. Harry and Woody find out about it, and here that's a nice drawing of the yacht there, and he's got a plan. Here they are, in disguise again on that yacht as the Sheik. What the heck? As the Sheik, and as a result, they get invited to this villa where Sergei is holding a party. And why are you staring? Oh, the Sheik, he reminds me so much. Oh, what am I saying? And here they go. They've got the plan. Woody is the Sheik. Harry is the chauffeur. They have a distraction. Boom! A little smoke bomb goes off, and Harry heads back to the car, and Woody grabs Natalia. They take off. Nice drawing of that Mercedes, not Rolls. Rolls Royce, and they go to the top of the roof of the embassy. What the heck's going on? The villa, not embassy, villa. They said, "Oh, we can't get away. We're trapped." Not for Condorman. He takes off the Sheik's outfit, and there's his Condorman costume in underneath. And aside from the beginning, this is the only time you see him in his Condorman suit. She hops on his back, and they fly off. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But they're being followed. Hey there, it's a good view of them up in the air, and then they're back to the boat. And there's Harry, and Harry's going to flag him in to the landing, and they have a safe landing. His wing broke again, but it was right at the last minute. He was able to get down okay. They get on the boat, and then, boom, Condorman boat. And here's the Brockonoviach again, this time in super boats. And we have a big chase scene. But Woody's not unarmed. He has this laser cannon mounted on his boat while Harry's driving. And he takes out most of the boats. Boom. And finally it's Morovich and Sergei in the last boat. While they're out of ammunition and they're running out of fuel, and here comes Morovich. He's going to run him down. It's a good view of that boat. Vroom! About to run him down. Oh, exciting. It's exciting. But they're being met by a helicopter. Can they get on in time? And they've attached the boat to the helicopter. The helicopter takes off, and the boat is up in the air, and they crash into the rocks. And here we are, finally at Natalia is safely in America with Woody. And here we see on the blimp over the baseball field, where they're having a good time, having a hot dog, is "Welcome, Natalia, to the United States. Oh, how sweet!" And then there's Harry's CIA boss there. Okay, contacts Harry. Yeah. "Hey, Woody, old buddy, you'll never guess what happened. I just thought of a great new adventure for Condorman," and that's the end. He's going to have Condorman become a regular agent for the CIA. It's a lot of little fun. There's lots of little things that were left out in the comic adaptation. Like I said, it's all fun. The third one I'm not going to get into, but here it's still the same artist, probably the same writer, and more weird stuff. But in this one, oh, again, right at the end, Woody finally puts on the Condorman suit. But all the rest of the time, he's just plain old Woody doing all the stuff. He finally gets on the Condor suit. Now, I think it's possibly because, I don't know why. I guess it didn't do that well. It was a satire, spoof. It really is primarily a spoof of spy movies. But it was a lot of fun. At the time, there was just nothing. There was the Superman movies, and that was it at the time. And so they kind of combined those two genres, stuff like Superman and the James Bond movies, the spy movies which were real popular at the time. And it was, like I said, a fun little movie, fun little book. I guess it didn't do that well. The movie is, I guess it's not run, or very seldom run anywhere, and it's not available on DVD from what I understand, or VHS. Several years ago I had a VHS tape. It was a bootleg, because that's all you could get. I enjoyed the movie. I even have the novelization as well as the comic adaptation. It's fun. That's all I can say for it. Really, decent art. Frank Bolle did a decent job on the art. He told the story well. He's a fine draftsman. Not overly exciting, because most of his stuff is for kids, and most of his stuff also features regular people, not superheroes or fantasy, anything like that. So I hope you enjoyed it. I sure do. If you find them in a dollar bin someplace, be worth a read. Pick them up. I hope you enjoyed this. I did. This is Gary for Bizarre Brain Comics, and hoping you will like, share, and subscribe. Share it with your other comic book friends or even Disney movie friends. And remember, comics are art. Condorman!